This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 204 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
All right, Nicole, we're going to have a whole bunch of these to start the year.
What does that mean? A whole bunch of these?
Well, we did the United Van Lines last year. That's a different report than the one we're about to go over. There's also the U.S. Census. So this is very specific to this company's data. So Racket number one, U-Haul Growth Index. Texas is the number one growth state of 2021. All right, so Texas edged Florida for the largest net gain of one-way U-Haul trucks in 2021. California and Illinois saw the greatest net losses. So this is not true migration. I just want to be clear on that.
Just U-Haul.
This is one-way U-Haul trucks. So it's also very specific to they're just taking a one-way trip. They're leaving the U-Haul in that new state.
It's very interesting, though, because I think we did I feel like we were in the old office. So it had to have been maybe last year. I swear, didn't we do?
We did United Van Lines.
Well, no. But we did a real word on how it was impossible for you to rent cars. So people were renting U-Hauls for like vacations, too. So it's interesting to see. It would be interesting to see how many of those skewed. Well, remember that? We did that whole article on that. Yeah.
And some of the Northeast states, and some of those numbers have changed a little bit. But some of the Northeast states literally didn't have. They had a shortage of U-Hauls because people were taking these one-way trips out of the Northeast states and just leaving them in the Sun Belt states. So Lone Star State earned the bragging rights for 2021, narrowly besting Florida for top honors, according to transactional data compiled for the annual U-Haul Growth Index. So Tennessee was third, South Carolina was fourth, and Arizona was fifth. And we did mention that California, Illinois were the last two. Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Alabama round out the bottom five. New York was 45th. There was some improvement, though, for some of these Northeast states. Select Northeast markets showed year-over-year migration recoveries as Maine rose 21 spots, Vermont 14 spots, and Connecticut, Nicole, was up 25 spots.
I love it.
In the U-Haul Growth Index. But yet, like we mentioned, New York, Mass, and Pennsylvania were still down in that bottom six. So Connecticut moved up 25 spots all the way to number 18.
Feels good. That means we're above the middle. We're like the top 50%.
43 to 18. That was one of the, if not the biggest mover on the entire list. Like Rhode Island, neighboring state to Connecticut, was relatively flat, was 35 last year, went up 3 spots to 32.
Oregon beat us a little. They were at 45 and went up to 14.
Ooh, there you go. So people going in to Oregon. Interesting. Alaska, 34th up to 16. People saying, you know what? I just want to be in the middle of nowhere. On the other side of Canada.
I want it to be sunny all day long.
Or dark all day long. I don't know. What is it right now?
You're asking the wrong person. I just know that it's light a lot. And then I guess dark. I don't know. But
so the top three states have been flip-flopping over the last 3 years: Texas, Florida, and Tennessee. Makes a lot of sense. All three states have no state income tax. Texas and Florida are relatively warm. Tennessee's got odd weather. But obviously it's got booming areas like Nashville and it's got the no state income tax. So any surprises here besides Connecticut jumping 25 spots?
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that Massachusetts kind of stayed flat, but I thought for sure maybe that would have moved up a little bit. But
we saw because we did over 500 transactions in Connecticut as a team, and we saw a bunch of buyers coming in from Mass, where it's like, hey, I got to get to Mass, but not really all that much. I can actually get a lower cost of living in Connecticut, which is mind-boggling. But when you compare it to Mass, it's true. And so we saw some U-Hauls come in from Mass down to Connecticut.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little surprised. And then New Hampshire. I'm
Certainly
surprised
New
New
York to
Hampshire.
Connecticut.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah. I guess I didn't feel like I saw many mass. I feel like though, like historically, we've seen a lot of people buying in mass instead of Connecticut, especially if they're retired because they're not getting taxed on that. So I am a little surprised that didn't move up a little bit. And then New Hampshire too. New Hampshire moved down in the rankings. I feel like
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people moving up to New Hampshire. My father has a house in New Hampshire that he sold like within days too. So I mean, the market's certainly hot up there. So I'm surprised that moved down instead of up. But no, I mean, I
Matt
love hearing Connecticut coming through. It's good.
Matt Merrill, U-Haul Area District Vice President of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and West Texas, said, "We see a lot of growth coming from the East and West Coast. A lot of people moving here from California and New York. We also see a lot of people coming in from the Chicago markets. I think it's a lot due to the job growth, a lot of opportunity here. The cost of living is much lower than those areas. Texas is open for business." When you look at Texas, Florida,
Hmm.
Tennessee, I still believe we're in the early innings of this massive migration into those states, because if you can work remotely, you avoid paying state income tax. If your job is relocating, they're likely relocating to one of those states. If they're coming out of the Northeast or California, they're
Hmm.
likely going to Texas. They're likely going to South Florida. So if it's a 9-inning baseball game, I think we're in like the second or third inning of
Hmm.
this migration. And we're going to see another 10, 15, maybe even 20 years of this type of migration down to those states, as long as they keep these policies that are working for them intact,
Yeah.
like no state income taxes.
Yeah. Well, I think where they have the benefit too is development. They have so much land still left to develop. I mean, I told you like if what I think it was almost 2 years ago, I was down in College Station for St. Jude, and I mean, they were building 500 home communities with like new schools. I mean, they're building they're still building neighborhoods, and they're certainly not slowing down.
No. And companies believe in these areas. You look at what Facebook or Meta just did this week. They just bought up the rest of the available office space in this high rise in Austin, Texas.
Hmm.
They already have office space in Texas. They're already telling people like in California you can work from home forever, and they just went out and just scooped up a whole bunch more of office space in Austin, Texas. Seems like an interesting move for a company that is pro work from home, but they clearly believe in uh, getting talent from Texas. So interesting.
Very.
All right, Racket number 2, the real estate trends.
Yep.
The Swanepoel Trends Report 17th edition is out, and with that, we have the Swanepoel Power 200 ranking, which you and I cover every single year. Nicole, by the way, we're going to go over the 200
Oh, you
ranking
have
right
it.
now, but I've
Look at
got
you.
my trends report just came in, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days ago,
Hmm.
and I'm going to be over the next couple weeks dissecting a few trends that we'll talk about on this show.
I
But
love it, and then you're hogging it even more because usually I can
yeah,
look over your shoulder and get some cliff notes, but now it's nothing.
I'll have to send you screenshots of
Mm,
there's a whole bunch of information. If you're somebody who's really likes like I really enjoy nerding out on this stuff.
yeah,
If you enjoy nerding out on the residential real estate industry, this is a report. We get no money for promoting this, but this is a report I think you should pick up every single year. I think it's a couple $100. It's certainly a lot of good information. But every year they do a Swanepoel Power 200 ranking,
mhm,
and this is basically, not who's got the biggest company. You'll
mhm,
see a lot of names, obviously, for the biggest companies, but it's more about who has the most influence and connectivity in the industry. So last year, Rich Barton was number one. Rich Barton, CEO of Zillow, he was named the most powerful player, industry leader by Swanepoel. This year, number one seat goes to Gary Keller. Keller Williams co-founded Keller Williams in the early 80s. He's still at it. Both his work and his writing has, at this point, influenced several generations of real estate agents. Number 2 on the list is a former Keller Williams agent, Glenn Sanford, who founded EXP just over 12 years ago. They're now have surpassed 65,000 agents worldwide. So let's just go through the top 5. You've got Gary Keller, you've got Glenn Sanford, 1 and 2, Ryan Schneider from Realogy, Gino Blafari from Home Services of America, and Robert Refkin, CEO of Compass, round out the top 5. So you have the big 5 brokerages in the top 5. You've got KW, EXP, Realogy, who's a
Everybody else.
conglomerate, Home Services of America, and Compass. The big 5 companies round out the top 5, and then you have the tech companies. You've got Rich Barton, Zillow, dropping from 1 to 6. Eric Wu, Open Door, number 7. Shouldn't be in the top 10 in my opinion, but there he is. Number 8, Glenn Kelman for Redfin. Adam Contois, Remax, who just today on Inman, it was announced that he is no longer the CEO.
Oh.
Yeah. So who was named the new CEO? This is like a headline that just came up this morning. So he was obviously the CEO of Remax, but he's set to depart Remax, and Stephen Joyce has been named interim CEO. I didn't even get into that article, so I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he wouldn't have been number 9 had that news obviously come out earlier. And then the 3 family members of Howard Hanna Real Estate are number 10. They're the largest family-owned real estate company. Of course, William Ravis, our brokerage, is the number 2 largest family-owned real estate in the country. They're both
I'm happy
in the
to see a
top
lady
10.
face on the list here. At least
Yeah,
we have a lady face.
Helen Hanna.
I like Helen. Way to pull through, Helen.
And so the 2 big family-owned companies that are in the top 10, everybody else is either going public this year in the top 10 or is a public traded company in terms of volume. So there's the list. Tom Ferry's on the list in the
64.
60s.
Yeah, number
64.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Buffini, number 65. You didn't see Mike Ferry make the list, just Tom Ferry. Did see a newer, he's not new. I wouldn't say he's new. He's been doing it over a decade. I think he's new to the list. I could be mistaken on that, but you did see Jared James get into.
Look at Jared. I feel like he peaked maybe a few years ago, but clearly not.
No, come on. He peaked. Stuff with that.
I don't know. Well, he's like a local guy. He lives here in Connecticut. I feel like I saw him a lot being, obviously in real estate. But then but maybe when I started getting into Tom, I ditched Jared. I don't know. He's a really nice guy.
No,
he's a nice guy.
He is. He does a great job. I know that Tom Ferry respects him. He has a coaching company. He came in at number 200, and you can go through the list. We'll link it up. What I do want to know, Nicole?
You're going to ask me a question on this? You think I have an answer?
And I can give my opinion. Are you shocked on how far Rich Barton from Zillow fell from number 1 to number 6, and that the 5 brokerages have seemingly taken back control? The 5 major brokerages have taken back control of the industry.
I mean, you think I really care?
I care.
I know you do. I'm just saying, though. I mean, I guess I'm a little surprised. I mean, again, obviously Zillow's been in the headlines. Everyone's still talking about them, which in my mind makes them influential, right? We're talking about the most influential individuals in real estate. So I guess I am a little surprised. But again, at the end of the day, I'm not really losing sleep over it.
The biggest news in our industry is always what's happening with Zillow. So to put them number 6, to put Rich Barton number 6, I am a little surprised, but maybe they're spreading the love, the recognition a little bit, because despite Barton's fall, Zillow's president, Susan Damler, who I heard speak about a year ago, very intelligent. She made her debut on the rankings this year and got the 28th spot. So not only did she debut in the top 200, she's all the way up to number 28. So maybe they're saying, you know what?
It's her turn.
Rich is great and all, but there's a team effort going on at Zillow. So we're going to spread the love a little bit. I know one of the other presidents was in the top, I'd say 20. Susan was 28. And then Jeremy Waxman, number 17, chief operating officer. So they've got 3 people there in the top 28. So, maybe you don't have to have the number one spot
Maybe not.
again.
Maybe not.
Well, another thing I thought was interesting.
Yes.
Because this is the power rankings, most influential people, the people that can swing the biggest shtick in real estate.
Hmm?
I thought that Andy Florence, the founder and CEO of CoStar Group, coming in at 15 was a little low, I thought, because they're making some moves, CoStar. And if they want to focus in on residential real estate, they've got just about more money than anybody on this list to do it. He's kind of a gangster, so I thought 15 was a little bit low for the CoStar Group founder and CEO.
I don't know. Well, maybe keep your eye on it for next year.
Yeah, I think if I had to make a bet on someone who's going to be higher than their position right now, I'd be betting on him for sure in 23. All right, we got a marketeer.
Stamp it, Bobby.
Yeah, stamp it up. Stamp it up.
Stamp it.
Marketeer of the week, Nicole.
Uh-oh.
We need
and I don't have the article. I'm not a Wall Street Journal.
I'll read you the highlights.
Please read it to me.
It's from the Wall Street Journal. So if you're don't click the link if you're not subscribed to Wall Street Journal.
Well, you can read like a paragraph of it.
Yeah. You can see the photo. We'll put the photo up anyways.
Yeah. I love it.
Are massive chandeliers in homes the next really big thing? Some interior designers use gigantic fixtures as big as 90 inches across, like the one that you see here in the photo, as functional art. Others regulate them to hotel lobbies. Here, experts illuminate both sides. So, Nicole, 90 inches across.
I mean, that's what, 9? That's like 8 feet, just about 8 feet. Yeah.
You can see it just taking over this room. Your eyes are drawn to it. Good thing, because the couch is a little ugly in this particular space. Do you think this is, one, how tall ceilings do you have to pull something like this off? And is this a trend that in 2022 we're going to be seeing more often?
I don't know that you need to go as big as 90 inches, but you know me. If it's not tile that I'm swooning over, it's definitely chandeliers that I'm swooning over. I spend a lot less time trying to figure out wall color and definitely trying to figure out lighting. Because I agree. I think it's functional art. I mean, if you get a good piece up there, you don't even need anything else on the walls. So I agree with you, though. Obviously, you have to be very conscientious of your height, like your ceiling height, and certainly the size of your room too. Or if it's over a table, or over, in this situation, it sounds like it's over a coffee table because you're talking shit about the couch. I think you have to be mindful of where it's going.
Look how small that coffee table is compared to the lighting fixture.
But I'm with it. I think bigger the better. I mean, at the end of the day,
you do believe in bigger the better.
I love it. I think it's amazing. And but again, at the end of the day, like I was going to say, it's really what you like.
So it's all about size with you.
Easy. Easy. No, I do. I do like big. I think but again, proportioned. I would never want it to outweigh a space, but I definitely would want it to be the focal point. So I think it's great.
Looks good in this space. There's no TV in this room. I don't think you'd put a TV when you have that big of a chandelier. It'd be too distracting from the game.
Maybe from the game. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's NFL playoff time.
Oh, Georgia won last night. That was great.
College season's over. That was great.
Yeah.
I wasn't rooting for. I'm such a big Nick Saban fan. I love hearing that man just lead.
I just like when the underdog wins. I mean, they were seeded 3rd. I mean, come on, right?
No, they were top 2. Were they?
Oh,
seeded
I thought
3rd?
they were 3. I thought they were 3.
Well, they've been Alabama. Everybody knew we're the top. We're the 2. You know.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, Alabama got them earlier in the year, but yeah, I guess it's time for the dogs.
I like it. I like the underdogs. I mean, hello, we're always rooting for the Giants. Come on, my kid actually.
Well, it used to be good.
He has a bracket in his room, and he actually put the Giants going to the Super Bowl
before the season.
Yes.
Well, he's hopeful.
I mean, he's a diehard. He's 11, so you got to give it to him. But
I had some rough years before we got Eli in my younger years. I had some good. Started with good years as a Giants fan when they beat the Bills in the Super Bowl, then had rough years, and then
Oh my God, the
back to
Bills,
good
that was
years.
what, 91,
Yeah, it was like
92?
90, I think.
Yeeks, I remember that. I think I was
Yeah.
in fifth grade.
That was the first Super Bowl I ever watched, like,
So fun.
end to end. All right, so
Anyway, I love it. I don't think it's a racket.
yeah,
Go big or go home. I love it.
I think it's still about the piece for me. This one fits in this room. It looks good. But you got to know what you're doing with the rest of the room. Nicole, make sure you're following Nicole. She knows what she's doing on design. She's finishing up a investment flip project for us right now, which is
Yeah,
looking
floors are
amazing.
getting done right now, so we'll be able to see the finished product hopefully by next week.
All right,
I'm
there you
excited.
go.
There it is.
That's what we got. Again, coming up next couple of weeks, I'm going to go through some of the Swanepoel Trends Report 17th edition. So if you don't want to buy it, again, we get no money off of this, but if you're not going to buy it, we will cover some of the highlights in this year's edition on upcoming shows. We're going to go, I think the United Van Lines report is out, so we'll have to go through that.
For
The
sure.
U.S. Census data. We've
I
got a
love it.
lot of end of the year numbers we gotta go over as we start 22. So we're
I'm
gonna do all
excited
of
for
that.
it.
Me
Good.
too. All right, guys. If you've been enjoying the show, please leave us a comment and consider subscribing. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Keep it real.